Good morning, Prairie UU. Good morning, seekers of connection and faith. We are Prairie Unitarian Universalist Church. We are from Parker, Colorado, and we welcome you. I invite you this morning, I invite you who come to find faith in humanity. Come into this house of community. I invite you who come to connect with something larger than yourself. Come into this house of diversity and inclusion. I invite you who come to find the divine that rests both inside of us and throughout our understanding of time and space. Come into this house of journey and wonder. Welcome, one and all. From me to you, welcome. Welcome to Prairie UU.
Good morning, Prairie family, friends, and guests. Thank you for joining us this morning. We're going to open with hymn number 188, Come, Come, Whoever You Are. Now, in researching my intro for this Sunday, I found out there's an extra line to the poem that this hymn is based on. And the music for this hymn is done by Lynn Unger, a Unitarian minister who is still active in the church. The words are by Jalal al-Din Muhammad Rumi, 13th century Persian poet, and he's never lost his popularity since he started writing. And in English translation, the words are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, it doesn't matter. Ours is not a caravan of despair. Come, even if you have broken your vows 1,000 times, come, yet again, come. So that those words, even if you have broken your vow 1,000 times, we can still include that in the hymn. So it would sound like, though you've broken your vows 1,000 times, though you've broken your vows 1,000 times, come, come, whoever you are. So you get the idea. If you want to sing that part, go ahead and sing it. And we're going to use our recording of Cora and Evan in their classic rendition of Come, Come, Whoever You Are, Whoever You Are. And so please join me as you're willing and able in singing Come, Come, Whoever You Are.
Welcome to the caravan of despair.
Wait, this isn't the caravan of despair. This is Prairie UU.
Come, come, whoever you are, wander, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again, come. Come, come, whoever you are, whoever you are, wander, worshiper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan, come, yet again, come, yet again, come, come, whoever you are, whoever you are, lover of leaving, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan, come, yet again, come, yet again, come, come, whoever you are, wander, worship, love is no caravan, ours is no caravan, come, yet again, 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 come.
Welcome to Prairie UU. I offer you a virtual hug with everything that comes with the love and celebration of our Prairie Unitarian Universalist community. We hope you feel welcomed and a sense of inclusion as you join us this morning. We want to acknowledge you who are joining us for the very first time, whether you are from Parker, Colorado, from Bryan, Texas, or from Just Living Queer and Friendly Intentional Recovery Community in Lakewood, or wherever you are in the world. We welcome you to join us this morning as we celebrate our morning service.
Hey, it's me again, Paul Ermish, ready to lead you in another hymn. We're going to do This Little Light of Mine. It's hymn number 118 in our hymnals. So this is a hymn that people aren't sure where it came from. It first appears in the early 1930s in African Methodist Episcopal church services. The line, This Little Light of Mine, may have come from a poem published in 1925. But obviously it's been well loved and well used over the years and done in many protests and also on many commercial recordings by famous people, including there's a version by Sam Cooke that I found that I had never heard. It's really good. So please join me as you're willing and able in singing This Little Light of Mine.
This month, we focus on becoming people of faith. And today, we focus on the unity of God. Please join me in the next few minutes of prayer and meditation and reflection to reflect on finding faith. Today, we celebrate with our Muslim siblings in faith preparation for the month of Ramadan, which will begin tomorrow evening. Ramadan is a time of deep reflection, service, and sacrifice. It is a time to rededicate ourselves to our faith. For our Muslim siblings, it is a time to strive for a greater consciousness of Allah. May it be a time for us as Unitarian Universalists to be more conscious of how we connect to the divine in the world. As a way to be connected, we gather each morning in a physical way by bringing our breathing buddies to us to share with us during service. So if you have not brought your breathing buddy, or if you have, I invite you to share your breathing buddy with us at this time. This is my breathing buddy, Ralph Waldo Jr., and he will be joining us as we begin this time of reflection and prayer. So I invite you to face the source of inspiration, to close your eyes, to look at someone that's joining us in service, or just to center on your breathing buddy as we begin to breathe together. Take a deep breath in and out. Release the tension in your body and just relax. You take a deep breath in and out. In and out. In and out. We now come to a time of lamentation and petition, a time for us as a community to reflect on the pain in the world and also ask each other and the universe, the divine, for care of those who are suffering. Many of our Muslim siblings will begin and engage this month of Ramadan and long for giving and celebration without the comfort of being able to be with their communities. I would like to offer to them blessings, goodwill, and love. Ramadan is a time for reflection, family, and community. And during this month of Ramadan, Muslims around the world will not be able to celebrate in community. May they know that they are held in our hearts every day of this next month and time for them. In their honor, I offer these words from the opening of the Quran in respect and solidarity. In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the giver of mercy, praise belongs to you, Allah, cherisher and sustainer of the universe, most gracious, most merciful, master of the day of reckoning or day of judgment. It is you we worship. It is you that we ask for help. O Allah, guide us to the right way, the way of those who you have blessed, those who incur no anger and have not gone astray. I ask you now, brothers and sisters and siblings in faith in our community, I invite you to share peace and love into the world by speaking of those who are around you that are in pain or suffering, and that you are holding in your heart as we send positive energy into the world. If you are joining us in Google Meet on Sunday morning, I invite you to please unmute yourself and speak of or name any intention you have at this time. If you are joining us in any other format or time of the week, enter your intention into the comments so that as a collective, we may share and send goodwill out with you. I now bind all that has been named and made known to us, but also that which has been unnamed and remains silently held in the hearts of this community as we light our chalice flame. Our chalice, which is a symbol that we are connected with a larger Unitarian Universalist community, and that we are connected to each other by covenant, as we recite our sacred covenant and promise to each other.
We covenant to be a welcoming and loving community, offering each other fellowship, sanctuary, and a joyful spirit. We seek justice and peace in all our deeds and relationships, and we respect and honor both the individual and the collective search for sacred meaning and truth. We revere and celebrate the diversity of our earth and are guided by the spirit that connects all life as we reach out to offer our best to ourselves, our community, and our world.
May the goodwill that we have just offered up be held in the hearts of our community as signs that we have come together to connect in a way that shares the words of our mouths, the music in our heart, and our very silent, still presence and soul as we share these next few moments of silence.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again because a vision softly creeping with the seeds while I was sleeping, and the vision that was planted in my brain, it still remains within the sound of silence. In restless dreams I walked alone, narrow streets of cobblestone, neath the halo of a street lamp. I turned my collar to the cold and damp, when my eyes were stabbed by the flash of a neon light that split the night and touched the sound of silence. And in the naked light I saw 10,000 people, maybe more. People talking without speaking, people hearing without listening, people writing songs that voices never share, and no one dared disturb the sound of silence. Fools that you do not know, silence like a cancer grows. Hear my words that I might teach you, take my arms that I might reach you, but my words like silent raindrops fell and echoed in the wells of silence.
Good morning, Prairie Peeps. What a glorious morning it is. You know, last weekend I talked to you about gifts and the gifts that we're born with. And the theme for this month is becoming, so becoming ourselves. And today we're actually going to watch Let It Go from the movie Frozen. You know, it's an anthem of acceptance. And that's part of us becoming, is accepting ourselves. And in fact, the anthem, becoming true self, no matter what other people think, it's really been something that's spoken to a lot of people. A lot of people in our gay, lesbian, and transgender community, a lot of people with addictions, folks in prison, and especially folks with disabilities. There's a part in there where she says she's actively using her ice powers, and they're a part of who she is. And that's really just like all of our disabilities, all of our challenges, they are part of who we are. And we need to come into that and become our best selves. So, enjoy, take a look, Let It Go from Frozen.
The snow glows white on the mountain tonight, not a footprint to be seen. A kingdom of isolation, and it looks like I'm the queen. The wind is howling like this swirling storm inside. Couldn't keep it in, heaven knows I tried. Don't let them in, don't let them see. Be the good girl you always have to be. Conceal, don't feel, don't let them know. Well, now they know. Let it go, let it go. Can't hold it back anymore. Let it go, let it go. Turn away and slam the door. I don't care what they're going to say. Let the storm rage on. The cold never bothered me anyway. It's funny how some distance makes everything seem small. And the fears that once controlled me can't get to me at all. It's time to see what I can do to test the limits and break through. No right, no wrong, no rules for me. I'm free. Let it go, let it go. I am one with the wind and sky. Let it go, let it go. You'll never see me cry. Here I stand, here I stay. Let the storm rage on. My power flurries through the air into the ground. My soul is spiraling in frozen fractals all around. And one thought crystallizes like an icy blast. I'm never going back. The past is in the past. Let it go, let it go. When I rise like the break of dawn. Let it go, let it go. That perfect girl is gone. Here I stand in the light of day. Let the storm rage on. The cold never bothered me anyway.
Now let's join together in singing our youth out. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the love of God surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go. Go now in peace, go now in peace. May the love of God surround you everywhere, everywhere you may go.
This morning we will be centering on the song Ramadan by Mar Zain, who is a Swedish R&B singer, songwriter, and producer of Lebanese origin. May we share these moments of centering around the month of Ramadan, a sacred time of sacrifice and prayer, and also a time of celebration of faith, family, and community.
You lift me up high, you spread my wings and fly me to the sky. I feel so alive, it's like my soul thrives in your light. But how I wish you'd be here with me all year around. Ramadan, ليتك دوما قريب. Love is everywhere, so much peace fills up the air. Ramadan, month of the Quran, I feel it inside me, strengthening my iman. But how I wish you'd be here with me all year around. Ramadan, 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 ya Habib. Ramadan, Ramadan, ليتك دوما قريب. I just love the way you make me feel. Every time you come around, you breathe life into my soul, and I promise that I'll try throughout the year to keep your spirit alive. In my heart it never dies. Oh, Ramadan. Ramadan, 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 ya Habib. Ramadan, Ramadan, ليتك دوما قريب. رمضان، رمضان، رمضان. ليتك دوما قريب ليتك دوما قريب
Please respond in community together with the words, I will keep the Spirit alive in my heart. Whether you have faith in a deity, God, goddess, humanity, nature, or science, that faith is kept alive by answering a call to submit yourself to something greater than yourself. May you keep that call central to your spirit. I will keep the Spirit alive in my heart. Understanding the divine is not an intellectual undertaking. It is a spiritual one that calls us to be connected. Sometimes we let go of our spirituality in order to satisfy our intellectual needs. May we keep our spirituality centered in our hearts. I will keep the Spirit alive in my heart. Throughout history, we have come to connect to the divine in many ways. Some connect in the silence of meditation, others in communities of family and friends, some in faith communities, and still more ways that we have yet to understand. May we all seek new ways to connect to the divine Spirit deep in our souls. I will keep the Spirit alive in my heart. Keeping our spirit alive is not always an easy task. We are pulled in many different directions, and the world is often not just or fair. We are hurt by those we love and those we have never met. May we find companionship to journey with those around us and find new ways to feed each other's spirit. I will keep the Spirit alive in my heart. Our spirit is deeply personal, but we come into community together to share it with others. May we be a community that uplifts those around us and strive to keep our heart filled with a spirit of love, faith, and hope. I will keep the Spirit alive in my heart.
I would like to begin this morning with the following words, which were attributed to Unitarian Transylvanian Francis David. You need not think alike to love alike. There must be knowledge and faith also. Sanctified reason is the lantern of faith. Religious reform can never be all at once, but gradually, step by step. If they offer something better, I will gladly learn. The most important spiritual function is conscience, the source of all spiritual joy and happiness. Conscience will not be quieted by anything less than truth and justice. We must accept God's truth in this lifetime. Salvation must be accomplished here on earth. God is indivisible. God is one. So who is this God that is one and indivisible? As Unitarian Universalists, we welcome people of all spiritual journeys. Some are deeply rooted in a belief in a personal divine presence that interacts personally with our lives. And the spectrum continues across a range of beliefs, all the way to, I would say, the other end of the spectrum, where the divine, as I call it, is in logic, reason, and the rules of the natural world. Wherever you fall on the spectrum of belief, I do believe that it is a way to connect with ourselves, nature, family, friends, the community, and something that is greater than us. For me, it is a divinity or a way to search for or to look for or to discern the important things in life, our values, connections, and purposes in this world. And this to me is nothing less than becoming ourselves beautifully divine. I think that this is what connects us all and the divine in this sense. It's what makes the divine one or unique or unified. The divine is not necessarily an entity for me, but instead a process which leads to oneness for unity. For me, it is not about reaching the divine as an end goal with a connecting being or entity. It is about a process of how we made the connection. How did we participate in that journey to making that connection? What did we recognize in that journey? And what did we miss? What did we hold on to? And what did we let go of? I think that if we let ourselves be led by our hearts before our heads, we can reach that oneness of God. Today, I would like to focus on the process of letting go. I believe that it is something that we as Unitarian Universalists have trouble doing. We fail to see that sometimes that old adage of letting go, letting God is written and spoken to help us breathe and to spiritually rest in whatever we are struggling with. We need to do that to breathe and to struggle and to separate ourselves from the struggle, not forever, but for a moment or two, so we can re-grasp and recenter and to become who we really want to be. I also believe that it is important to recognize that what we are embodying or not embodying, and how it connects us in this journey to become more connected to the divine and all that is around us. It is important to ask ourselves how our worldview and experience shape how we interact with the world around us. Today, I offer you an example of spiritual practice that involves letting go and letting God as the center core belief system. And this is coming from our Muslim siblings as we enter the month of Ramadan. It is an example of how spiritual practice and serving our community are intrinsically tied together. During this month of Ramadan, our Muslim siblings will actively work to actualize their relationship with and to the divine. In their case, name the divinity named as Allah. And they will do this through Islam, small I Islam, or the practice of complete submission. In this next few weeks, our Muslim siblings will more actively work to being more conscious or more aware of the divine in their lives. They will do this through, among other ways, fasting, prayer, community service, and community gathering. They will spend more time praying, more time serving the community, and more time in community with family and friends. Each day during Ramadan, Muslims around the world will fast from food, water from sunrise to sunset, and then break this fast in the evening with a ceremonial, communal celebration of iftar, a meal which usually starts very simply and humbly with dates and water or milk, and then is followed by a dinner. I'm not sure if you realize this, but in some parts of the world, when Ramadan is celebrated in the longest days of the year, that could mean that fasting could be for up to 20 hours out of the 24 hours a day. So you would only be able to eat, to drink, to do the things that normally you would do outside of your spiritual practice, outside of your regular work day or regular day. You have 4 hours a day to do that. But why this type of fast? You may be asking. this is the part of Ramadan that I would like to center on. The fast as a spiritual practice serves a variety of purposes. Primarily, it is an act of submission to Allah, a recognition that they as Muslims are only in control of their own bodies and nothing else. And even though that they are in control of their own bodies, it is a recognition that they are not in control of their hunger or thirst or other bodily desires. Now, this fast, I will say, is not similar to the fasting in the Christian tradition during Lent, which maybe more of us are more aware of or understand in a different way. The Christian tradition fasting in Lent is more centered on self-denial or of pleasure. It's this fasting in Islam and in Ramadan is not about self-denial, but about submission, about letting go and letting God. It is not about denying our bodily desires, but instead about releasing needs and wants as a means to a better way to understand their personal relationship with the divine, with themselves, and with their community. Secondly, is also about recognizing that gifts like food and water are precious gifts from God. In their case, in Allah. We as Unitarian Universalists may translate this into nature, Mother Earth, or Gaia. While this part of the practice is focused on grace and gifts from Allah, it is also reflective of and about those who do not have these physical gifts like food and water. It is a reminder and a time to reflect on the fact that many people in this world go without the basic necessities of life. It is a reminder that there are siblings of ours who are poor, marginalized, and oppressed that need to be served. It is a reminder that there are people who go in this world who do not have shelter, food, clothing, water. Because of this, many Muslims set aside the money that they would have spent spent food on money or on other things such as entertainment or things that they would normally do in their lives that are maybe not necessary to life, right? They'll set that money aside during the month of Ramadan so that they can donate it to the poor or to charity. In UU language, this is a transformation of spiritual practice into social action and justice and care for humanity. It is a reminder that justice is necessary and contingent upon faith, and faith is necessary and contingent upon justice. A reminder that submission to Allah is an act of faith, and acting on that faith is done through serving humanity. This time of Ramadan for our Muslim siblings is a time that is filled with spiritual practice in a hopes of becoming more aware of the divine. It is a time to remove distractions and focus on our lives and centering how we can inspire and connect with the divine to become a deeper and more fully human of faith. I recognize that I am sharing this with you as a Unitarian Universalist and not as a practitioner of Islam. That said, I don't believe I will fully ever be able to understand and embody the faith of my Muslim siblings. I will look to them for leadership and for example and for truth. I will look to them to inspire me to be a better person. And I will also say to you that I will recognize that many of the things that you will hear or you will understand or you will learn from our Muslim brothers and sisters, our Muslim siblings in faith, that many of those things will need to be internally translated and that we will need to search for words that are meaningful for us as Unitarian Universalists. But nevertheless, I would like to ask you to engage this message as one of a specific community that provides us with an opportunity to learn from a people who deeply engage a hope to serve the world through their faith. Now, I have only focused on one aspect of the Muslim tradition, of submission through Islam, of Ramadan. I've only focused on one tiny aspect of it. But I did so because I believe this is an initial conversation. And I think it stands out to most of us when we think of Islam or Ramadan in this time of year. And it's also very misunderstood by non-Muslims. Because like I say, it's more often understood as a time of sacrifice rather than a time of giving. That fasting is presented to us as a time of denial instead of a time of submission and giving and love. So I want to be able to share this time with you as a way to just engage that mindset and that worldview as different from what most of us have experienced, either as Unitarian Universalists or for those of us who come from the Christian tradition and understanding what sacrifice means during Lent or Advent or different times of the year. I want to invite you to seek out also more information about Ramadan and our Muslim siblings, to investigate and to learn more from their example of spiritual practice and how it connects them to their understanding of the divine, the process of becoming, and the community around them. I invite you to wish our siblings Ramadan Mubarak, a happy and joyful reflection. And then I invite you also to reflect on your own spiritual practices as both individual and as Unitarian Universalists. Asking yourself, what are my spiritual practices, both as an individual and as a UU? How do they help me become more self-aware as a person? How do those spiritual practices help me to let go and let God? How do they help me serve my community? How do these spiritual practices that I participate in as a Unitarian Universalist help me to see, to connect with, to embody the divine, God, Goddess, humanity, nature, logic, or reason? How do I engage my spiritual practice to connect with these things, not as the goal? It's not to connect with the divine as a goal, but to connect with the divine as a process, as a way of becoming a more engaged person of faith who will seek out ways to actualize their faith through service, and to understand that we are connected to something larger than ourselves through our interconnected web of life. I invite you to learn, to experience, and to deepen your faith as we become a larger body, a connected, larger group of siblings who will build a larger, better, stronger, beloved community around us. Blessed be.
الصلاة والسلام عليك يا الصلاة والسلام عليك عليك يا حبيب الصلاة والسلام عليك عليك يا سيدي عليك يا عليك يا سيدي عليك يا سيد الأولين والآخرين.
Good morning, Prairie friends. We're a community of people who come together in love and support of each other. Part of being in this community requires sharing our resources, our time, our talent, and our treasure. We need to be cared for in a variety of ways, and one of the teams that does this for us is our core team. The core team works together to bring us our Sunday morning experience. The team consists of the Sunday worship team, lifespan education, membership and greeters, communication, hospitality, and others. Without the weekly work of our core team, our time together on Sunday would not be possible. I truly appreciate each person who gives their time to Prairie as we work to grow together to build our beloved community. This morning, I would also like to thank you for continuing to give to our community fund. The fund is managed by the Committee on Shared Ministry and Pastor AJ and is designated to assist our community members who may be in financial need. If you need immediate financial help with items like a utility payment, a car bill, medical copay, etc., please reach out to Pastor AJ or a member of the Committee on Shared Ministry. We are here to help each other and love each other, so please reach out if you do need help. Thank you and hope you have a blessed day.
From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give. Together we share, and from this we live.
Good morning. I'm Janet Stevens, Chair of the Stewardship Campaign. I joined Prairie in 2013 when I first moved to Colorado. My first experience as a UU when I was 5 years old for a little while in a church in Lexington, Kentucky. I was in my early 20s when I reconnected with UUs by going to All Souls Church in Washington, D.C. From there, I went to the church in Durham, North Carolina, Charleston UU of South Carolina, then the UU of Lakeland, Florida, until I came here. On the last few moves, I checked out that there was a Unitarian church where I could meet like-minded people before I committed to those moves. In all of these places, I have found a home, a place that is welcoming, a place that welcomes my ideas. Through these UU congregations, I have had an opportunity to build friendships and connections, to explore my theology and spirituality without judgment by others. I have also had the opportunity to work with like-minded people to make an impact on poverty, access to quality education, and social justice issues. While Prairie is a small congregation, it has a lot of things going on. One of the things that has been so special to me is that Prairie has a very caring community. Early on in my attendance here, a member spoke in joys and concerns about how grateful she was for the support she got from the minister and members, and that it had made a big difference in her life. There have been others who have periodically shared that as well. Not only is this heartwarming to share, but the fact that people are comfortable getting up in front of the congregation to say these things says to me that they feel they are safe in sharing with this community. Personally, I had been here just a few months when I found myself dealing with my father dying on the East Coast, as well as my mother having mental decline and having a serious fall. Despite that I'd just been here for a few months and didn't feel like I really knew people, I received cards and texts from members and the minister, which gave me support and made me feel that I was not alone. Last year, I started talking about having the nominations committee be more of a leadership development committee, and I am pleased that we are officially making that transition. Our goal is to help members better understand the role of our leadership committees and get training and feel supported and have access to make them feel more comfortable in taking roles on at Prairie. And we are currently looking for members to help with that transition. I appreciate the opportunities that I have had at Prairie and other UU churches to play leadership roles. They have been a great way to connect with other people and for my personal growth, as well as helping me to move forward in leadership roles in my career. What we have at Prairie is of great value to me, and I expect it is to you as well. Prairie needs to be well supported to continue to be the place we love and to grow. I have made my pledge for this coming year, and I hope you will pledge by April 23rd, which is the end of our pledge drive. We have raised about $43,000 this year, which is about 41% of our approximate $106,000 goal. What you pledge drives what programs and activities we can budget for the upcoming year. We appreciate whatever pledge you can make. You can pledge online by going to www.prairieuu.org and clicking on the Pledge Drive tab. Or if you want a little more personal experience, you can email me at janets@prairieuu.org and we can connect by phone. So thank you for any support you can give.
As we prepare to leave this space today, I remind you that our celebration does not end but continues to live in our hearts. I invite you to explore how you can become more than you are, more than you ever imagined to be. I invite you to seek out spirituality in other forms that may be foreign to you or may challenge you in the weeks to come. And I invite you to do all of this as we recite these words, wishing well upon each other and ourselves. These words of Mark L. Bellatini. Go in peace. Live simply, gently, at home in yourselves.
Act justly, speak justly.
Remember the depth of your own compassion. Forget not your power in the days of your powerlessness.
Do not desire to be wealthier than your peers, and stint not your hand of charity. Practice forbearance.
Speak the truth or speak not.
Take care of yourselves as bodies, for you are a good gift.
Crave peace for all people in the world, beginning with yourselves, and go as you go, with the dream of that peace alive in your heart. Amen. Amin. Shalom. Salam. Namaste. Blessed be. I want to thank you for joining us today in our service. I want to make sure to invite you to our service next week. Welcome to Turtle Island. We will be looking at Native American spirituality, and we will also be celebrating Earth Day and celebrating our planet as we engage and go forward in trying to become more than we were yesterday. I wish you a wonderful week, and be blessed and hold yourselves well, because you are a good gift.